The darkness within the heart of Illumi Zoldyck is not one that is forged through hate or any negative emotion, but through pure love and devotion, being manipulated in this absolute delusion of a false set of reality. Now, Illumi Zoldyck is one of the most nuanced characters Togashi has provided for us within Hunter x Hunter, so much so that he's widely misunderstood as this big bad antagonist, but rather he is more of a tragedy than anything else. For me, when I look at Illumi Zoldyck and who I can create parallels with to understand him better, the first thought is Showerproof. In the same way that Showerproof had this absolute image of perfection for King Meruem, that he was willing to go and cut off King Meruem's potential happiness of Komugi for the perfect king, is exactly what Illumi is doing by trying to separate Killua from his friends and turning him into this perfect assassin. In the end, Illumi, more than Killua himself, had a very tragic upbringing, one of intense torture, and one where he was forced to be this assassin, the perfect assassin. The harshness of Silver's upbringing had forged him into a man that really didn't know who he was. Illumi's identity is that of an assassin, and that is his only identity. So when he looks to himself and what has given him his success within his life, it is the success killing, this overwhelming family tradition, and yet Killua is trying to divulge from it. Now, Illumi has shown Killua love in the way that his family has shown him love, being that of intense attention in a very negative and provocative manner. Illumi cared so much for Killua that he even showed up to Killua when he ran away from home, tailing him in the Hunter exam to make sure that he was safe. Illumi placed this needle embodied with his nen inside of Killua to make sure that no matter what happened, Killua would run away and his life would be spared. The moment that Hisoka threatens to kill Killua, Illumi completely loses this control. This stoic assassin with these slender movements and no facial expressions goes batshit crazy. And that is the unconditional love that Illumi has for Killua. This unconditional love that Illumi has gets tested, and that's when we truly learn more about it and himself as a character. Of course, I'm talking about the 13th chairman election arc, as Killua during the Chimera Ant arc had removed Illumi's Nen needle. He had suddenly regained a bunch of memories hidden within his subconscious. He now remembered Alluka, and that poses a direct threat to Illumi, as Alluka, this being coming from the Dark Continents, has powers which are unknown and uncontrollable. The entire of Illumi's childhood has been about a sense of control and a sense of doing things efficiently, and here you've got an absolute wild card that threatens not only the love of his life and his little brother, but his mum, dad, entire family, and everyone he has ever known. Illumi's worldview is in the position of he needs to do something quickly or else everything gets crushed. There's no use of anything anymore because life will lose all meaning. Everyone will die, and everything that the Zoldyck family, dynasty over generations and generations has worked for will crumble. And this is when we see the desperation of Illumi. What happens when the stoicism gets forcefully removed from him, and we see the despair and we see the absolute agony that is his mental state. Now, this comes into play when Killua gets to Alluka before Illumi does, and he uses Alluka to be able to control the rest of the Zoldyck family. And now Illumi comes to the help of Ahsoka to go and capture Killua and Alluka. And in this moment, we see just how far Illumi is willing to go. He is willing to harm even Killua if it means ensuring the safety of the Zoldyck family. He is desperately going at all lengths at these really animalistic attempts to end Alluka's life. And that shows us just how deeply he cares about his family and how much love he has within his heart. This is very, very important scene where Illumi is thinking to himself and he's telling himself, I have to get rid of Alluka, even if it means I die. He is willing to get himself killed for what he believes in. And that's something which is very honorable for a character that is portrayed to be heartless. But really, at the core of Illumi's character is a heart and a willingness for things to go well. He just wants the best for his brother and his family. He's got friends like Hisoka, and he wants everything to be fair and done in a manner in which he sees as beneficial towards those he cares about. We really get to see the relief in Illumi when he realizes that he can use Killua through Alluka to go and have this ultimate weapon of mass destruction. All of a sudden, the anxiety about him goes down, and we see his absolute ecstatic joy as he stands on this building, grinning and laughing, and you see his eyes pulsating. He is absolutely in love. He never wanted to hurt Killua to get rid of Alluka, and now he's got another way. Grace has found him. And as we see Illumi now on the Black Whale 1, it really does intrigue us to where his character arc is going. Illumi is a character that, whilst everything I said is true, it can also be subject to change. Mystery and intrigue is at the very nucleus of the appeal he has as a character. There's lots of scenes and panels in the Hunter x Hunter manga, especially during the York New City arc, where we see these really beautiful angles and portrayals of Illumi. He is really seen as a figure that's moved, almost like an ancient painting. He's someone that's beyond his years in maturity, and in his delusional worldview, he has developed quite quickly. He has become an unofficial father to Killua, someone that, more so than anything, is trying to push him to be his best self. Everything Illumi does is out of a sense of selflessness. He is so beyond his years that he doesn't think of himself, the individual, but rather as a part of the Zoldyck family and an extension of their will. All his moves and everything he does is for Silver and Zeno and what they would want him to do. Whilst he isn't the heir to the Zoldyck family, as of course this comes through Killua, the one with the classic grey hair and the one which is the ultimate prodigy, he takes his pride in trying to push Killua to be something better. Going back full circle to the parallel I made of Shadowproof, in the end, both of their pursuits of this ideal utopian scenario come crumbling down in defeats. In the end, as much as Illumi thinks that he's going to convince Killua and he will be able to get to Killua to use Alluka, or whether he's going out to the Dark Continent to try to find another Alluka to battle against this one, regardless, we know as readers, because we know Killua, that Illumi will never succeed. And that is the intrigue, right? Illumi is on a flat character arc which is destined to crash. And the intrigue's going to be what happens when he fails. Another character he reminds me of, whilst not in Hunter x Hunter, is that of Light Yagami, that in his own delusional state believes he is doing things for the greater good. That is exactly the state of mind that Illumi is in. Illumi is someone that is completely detached from his emotions. We see that everything he views is through an analytical sense. Of course, Mike, the guard dog of the Zoldyck family, is more so like Illumi than any of the other family members. Illumi is the only Zoldyck family member that has completely detached themselves from their personality, and that shows he is the utter true professional. Whatever happened to him in his infance that we don't know about, he's had quite the strong reaction to it, and that reaction continues to reverberate throughout now the Phantom Troop and before his own family. So Illumi is definitely a big player to look out for, and his Nen goes hand in hand with his personality, and that enhances this overall impression we have of him being this person that's trying to force their way in the world, in a world which has weaker minds and people that don't quite know who they are and what they're doing. A good example of this, whilst being efficient, is Crollo Lucifer, and Hisoka is a wild card that Illumi takes advantage of to make things go his way. He has positioned himself in every state of his life to always be there, to have some kind of financial, to have some kind of reputational or personal gain to bolster his family name. Illumi Zoldyck is the truest representation of what it means to be a Zoldyck family member. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please feel free to like. And if you love Hunter x Hunter, I do videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. So be sure to subscribe. I hope you've all had an incredible day. Of course, if you want to see other Hunter x Hunter content, I've got all the playlists on the channel, so you can feel free to indulge in it. But regardless, I'm really appreciative of you all. I wish you all the best. And yes, this is Hadrigon. Peace out.